coffee.
Now we wait 4 minutes for this to finish. I've gone back and forth about sharing this because, there's a lot of different opinions, how you'll be perceived, but I feel like honesty is always the best policy. And when it comes to goals, if you're trying to help other people achieve their goals, you definitely want to give them full disclosure of how you're going to reach those goals in a realistic way. I am currently on week 1 of being on Tirzepatide. I've struggled with food noise since I was a teenager. When I first weighed over 300 pounds, just becoming a teenager. I remember stepping on a scale, not exactly knowing how old I was, but 12, 13, I was big. I was the fat kid, for sure. And that led to the constant thought process about my body, about my image, about food, about exercise. It led to a lot of gaining and a lot of losing weight throughout my entire 20s and most of my 30s now. Currently 36 years old, still struggling with this. And what's crazy is I feel like I'm a great example of the notion that you cannot out-train a bad diet. Because throughout this entire 20 years, I have trained 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes multiple times a day, the entire time. I love to work out. I did CrossFit for 10 plus years, multiple times a day. Went through some bodybuilding phases, went through some endurance phases. A lot of it shifted towards the CrossFit mentality of being a competitor. And I was a competitor. Good one is arguable, but I loved it. I drank the Kool-Aid and I was into it. Currently, I am training jiu-jitsu 2 times a week, getting back into that, loving it. All that to be said is my capacity to eat or overeat is huge, very huge. And that capacity to overeat has led to some really big weight swings throughout my life. I remember a coworker once asked me how many 50-pound weight jumps I was going to make in my life, because I would lose weight and then gain it back. I was really good at sticking to my diet, losing the weight, but then the maintenance part. So recently, I decided to work with a doctor to get on what I think is the most effective GLP-1 that you can get prescribed. I'm doing it through a compound pharmacy, working with my doctor, and I'm currently taking Tirzepatide. First week, honestly, pretty subtle, but the lack of snacking has been really nice, the lack of desire to snack. And the subtlety is enough to notice, but also enough to really set in my sight my expectations and my goals for why I'm doing this. I want to get rid of the food noise. I want to get to and maintain a healthy body weight. And I want to get back to those moments of being lean and feeling comfortable in my body. So the goal isn't just to lose weight. The goal is to build a more sustainable lifestyle for me at a body weight that I'm happy to maintain. So right now, everything's kind of staying the same. My training's still consistent. My diet is something that I will be sharing and going over more of what that's going to look like throughout this journey. And then I love tracking my steps, gamifying it. And as always, hitting the protein goal. Several cups of coffee. My goal with sharing this is to keep it real, but also to kind of maybe give you expectations and what I think to be a healthy way of approaching a drug like this, or anytime you're trying to get on a compound. My goal is not to jump to the highest dose and then zap all of my hunger. My goal is to take the minimum effective dose to get the results I want to help me push along. After this first week, I know it builds up in your system. I just got my second shot this morning, and I'm excited to see how that goes. I do feel that I probably will go up the next time I ask to the next dose, and then I'll see where that goes. But if you were on a weight loss journey or you were on a GLP-1 and there are things that you think would help, questions you might have for somebody who just started, feel free to let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.